David Azzi is the owner, chef of the Golden Boot restaurant at the corner of Ridgeway and Nelson in Coquitlam, BC. David grew up surrounded by the traditional Italian cooking of his mother and aunts, which solidified his interest in cooking. Learn more about him and his thoughts on Canadian pizza in this video.
After 2 years at Anywhere, I decided that I wanted to move on to my own and open out a restaurant in Coquitlam, which is where I grew up, and I thought it was a brilliant idea, as there wasn't really any other Italian restaurants in this area, so that's what happened. Other than that, I worked extensively. Well, I didn't really work, I didn't get paid, but I spent a lot of time with a friend that I had in Italy that I sort of grew up with. Like I said, I was there for 3 months of the year, so I had friends there that I grew up with from when I was small. And he ended up owning a restaurant. So when I lived there for a year, I spent a lot of time with him in the restaurant and cleaning up and stuff like that, and watching and taking down notes and writing recipes. And so I was ready to cook the cuisine from that region of Italy. That's how I did it.
How was the first couple years of operating the booth?
Oh, well, the first few months I was by myself, cooking, cleaning, and serving, probably for about the first 4 weeks. So it was very stressful. I don't know how to say this, but it was probably not the best idea to open a restaurant with no money, but somehow it managed to take off, and I got to hire some people, and it steadily grew, and it's still been growing up until the last couple of years. I always wanted to keep things simple. I didn't want to really have a big menu. I wanted to stick with things that I knew and I was specialized in, and the cuisine exactly from the region that I was from, which I think is the best Italian food, obviously. So I wanted to make sure that I made that to the top quality that I could ever make it. And I knew there was other restaurants out there that didn't make that cuisine. So most of the cuisine that I made would be handmade, fresh pasta, stuff that was never even thought about in this area before I started doing it. Nowadays, there's more and more restaurants that actually do fresh pasta and spend more time on ingredients and quality of food rather than just big heaping slops on plates. That when I was growing up, that was Italian food, or that's what my friends thought was Italian food, and it really upset me. So this is why I wanted to make sure that I made proper food the proper way, even if the portions weren't big sloppy things on plates, which we don't see as much as we used to see back in the 80s or 90s, thankfully. Well, originally I came up with the name The Golden Boot because it was a trophy for soccer for the top goal scorer in the tournament. But it also signified the boot of Italy, the shape of the country. So I thought that was a brilliant idea. We'll call it the Golden Boot. It didn't have to have an Italian name. People will figure it out. People will remember the name Golden Boot because it sticks in your head, and it'll work really well. In hindsight, I think maybe I should have used an Italian word somewhere along the line so that people would have known that it was an Italian restaurant, because I think a lot of people drove by and went, what's a Golden Boot? I finally had to start sticking up signage with the boot of Italy so that people would know what it was. Today, yes, my father eats there every day. My other family, I have cousins who come from the west side of Vancouver that come probably once a month to eat. So they obviously appreciate food from the region, which is tough to find. So they come and love it, yeah.
Has any family or people from Italy ever come and eaten it?
I've had cousins from Italy come, and they love it. Well, they say they love it. I hope they do. I mean, they're going to say they love it. Yeah. Unfortunately, most of my aunts that I learned from are all gone. My grandmother obviously is gone, so it's kind of sad. But it's also good to keep the legacy going of the food that they made. I mean, that's not why I do it. I do it because I love the flavor of it. But it's also nice to have the legacy that it's not going to change. You know, what they made is still what I make, and hopefully my children will make the same thing, and not change. Maybe it'll last a few hundred more years. It's a lot simpler now. Yes, there are a few. I mean, before the pandemic, I would go to Italy maybe once or twice a year, and go to my friend's restaurant, hang out with him, and come up with some new ideas or some new stuff. And there are a couple things, ingredients that they have in Italy that you can't get here. I tried to bring it back, but you're not allowed, so I got caught. I'm talking about salami. I'm not talking about anything too bad. But yeah, it would be nicer to be able to import more stuff from that region. But it's pretty good here now than it used to be, right? 25 years ago, it was a lot more difficult to find quality. There's definitely more pizza restaurants that serve a lot better pizza. They serve mostly the Neapolitan style pizza, which is not what we serve, but it's a lot better than what it used to be. Our pizza isn't Neapolitan. Our pizza, we call it traditional Italian, which is it's a little crispier crust than the Neapolitan, which is more soggy, which is good too. So it's all different. I mean, it's the quality of when we talk about the pasta. There are mostly in Vancouver fresh pasta restaurants that are actually serving fresh rolled out handmade pastas, which is really great to finally see, because it's been so long that I've been around that restaurants haven't been doing that. So it's nice to see that people are finally saying, hey, we can make this and people will like it. I wish that I had opened more restaurants, maybe, but now that it's kind of booming, the fresh pasta craze, there's actually stores that are selling fresh pasta, and people are kind of getting onto having better quality food. So it's good to see. Canadian pizza?
Yeah, that's even a bit.
Oh, I don't want to bash people, but I mean, I'll have a Canadian pizza occasionally, especially when you're talking like with a soccer team. I coach soccer, so we're having a house party. Let's bring in some Canadian pizza, like what we call Canadian pizza, and I'll have a slice, and I'll remember why I don't eat it. I don't want to be mean, but it's the simplicity of the Italian food is it's lighter. If you get an Italian pizza, the crust is lighter, the cheese isn't slopped all over it. It's more balanced, I would say. So there's not a lot of sauce, there's not a lot of sugar. It's way more balanced than the Canadian or American pizza, which is smothered with sugar and sauce and oodles of cheese. No. So get back to your question. No, I don't like it. I try to keep things as traditional as possible. When my daughter went vegan, I decided I would try to maybe put a vegan bolognese sauce on the menu, and see if it would sell. But I haven't really done it yet because I'm thinking that it's not going to sell. But I could always try it and see what happens. That'll be in the next month or so when we reopen fully, and then we can give that a try and see if we can sell any of it. I actually like it. I was really impressed. It's pretty good. There's lots of vegetarian Well, mostly Italian food is vegetarian. The way the Italians eat, they eat an antipasto, and then they would have the pasta, which is normally vegetarian. There's not usually protein in the pasta. It's just a very simple butter or tomato sauce. And then the second course would be the protein, so the chicken or the veal or the beef, whatever. Americans somehow changed it where you put the meatballs on the pasta, which is not Italian at all. The meatballs come after the pasta. But I guess to make things faster, because of the way we live our lifestyle is, how fast everything has to be done, they put the protein with the pasta. But on the menu, there's most of the menu would be vegetarian, or simply made into vegetarian.
All right, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you. It's fun.